Hi, and welcome to another edition of QT Talks. My name is JJ Curren. I'm here with Jody Colegrove. We're both practitioners here at Quantum Techniques, the most comprehensive form of energy medicine diagnostics in the world today. Here at Quantum Techniques, our practitioners work with people around the world to help heal chronic and acute health-related issues remotely over the phone from the comfort of their own home. Today's subject is pathogens, and that's a pretty broad subject, I would say. Jody, let's start talking about what kind of different pathogens are there out there?
Well, the ones that
in the QT world, right? Because I know,
Well,
that was a loaded question.
Yes. We typically test for viruses, bacterias, mycoplasma, mycotoxins, but those kind of get a little bit, not necessarily hard to explain, but it's just the way that the body, we are able to dialogue with what's going on.
There is subgroups to those.
Yes.
Right, which is where it gets crazy.
So viruses and bacterias, and what we've found is that, like I said, the body almost categorizes the virus and bacteria in certain ways, and so we're just asking, okay, that frequency of a virus and bacteria, is it resonating in the body? I guess another one would also be parasites, because that comes up on whether people have had a parasite in their body, and that is considered kind of a toxin or a pathogen.
You forgot about the big one.
Okay.
The Fungal Candida.
Oh, yes, sorry, yes. I usually rattle them off, so yeah. Thank you. Mold is another one. So we've done a couple talks on mold. So we're finding out how many are in the body and where the body's put it and what organ, gland, or tissue. And once we get the body to see it, then we feel like the body can start working on getting rid of it because it's a foreign substance. Now, I've had people say, well, what about the good bugs? Are you getting rid of everything? And it's like, we just have a feeling that the body knows what it should not, what's foreign and what's not foreign, and what it wants to be a symbiosis with and what it doesn't. Right. And so that's what we're dialoguing with, saying these need to leave, or these are irritating the body and creating inflammation instead of a good homeostasis for the body. So that's what we're discovering, and then getting the body to see it so it can let go of it.
Right. So some of the other things we look for, we have man-made stuff too, but we always look for metals underneath man-made, and we always look underneath virus. Is there any supervirus? Like a herpes or hepatitis or Coxsackie? And why is that? Why do we go that deep into metals and herpes and things like that?
Well, I think we do that because we need to sometimes get deeper on how the body, like I said, categorizes that particular pathogen or toxin. And why sometimes the body can just say, you can say virus and it's fine. And then there's other times where I say, do I need to know exactly what this is? And I usually get a yes. And typically when I get that answer, it's because the body has not been able to identify that it's foreign or that it doesn't realize it's there, and I need to name it by name. And once I do, then the body says, okay, now right. Let it go.
And some of the superviruses too, as well as the metals, they can actually hide things underneath them.
Yeah, like you're saying, like the metal virus, it's a long day so far. But metals can hide, herpes underneath. It's because they're a bigger molecule than another molecule. And so, the body almost just can't see it's there because there's too much metal in the body. And so once we had cleared that metal, then we would say, oh yeah, there's this whole pathogen load underneath this that the body hadn't seen before.
Right. That's insane. So Jody, you'll like this. This is kind of what I use. It's a thing, but this is kind of my cheat sheet for all scans that I do with my clients. And I kind of go the same way. It's got man-made metal, medications, and vaccine residues. That's another big one because they also hide a lot of stuff.
Yes.
I had an unbelievably large vaccine and medication residue because I spent 36 years in the service.
Right.
So, I mean, it was like every time I turned around, they were giving us a shot for something. insane. So yes, and that stuff. So normally when you find metals or superviruses and you find things underneath them, that's when the body starts opening up to really begin that big healing process, because usually it's the metals and the superviruses that are hiding things that the body really hasn't been able to pinpoint yet. It's like, I'm going to leave that guy there for now because I'm not sure about him, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and why our body, I always kind of talk to it like people say, well, why am I putting on weight? Well, your body has this intelligence in saying, okay, the substance is coming in, whether it's virus, bacteria, or food, or man-made chemical that doesn't understand. And so it says, well, I want to protect the organs and glands in the body the best I can. So instead of sending it down through the intestines, I'm going to put it in this fat layer over here and encapsulate it so it's taken care of and protected from the rest of the body. Well, we as humans don't like that. So we're like, we want to get it out of the body. But that's why we work with detox with people at the same time, is we're identifying these toxin pathogens so that they can slowly let the body go and get rid of it. So I think it's just a nicer way to look at your body, that the fat is there for a reason, and your body's been doing that to take care of you, even though we don't like the result of it. But there's something you can do to help get rid of it, which is help identify it and then clear it by clearing detox.
Right. Now we have a couple of detox scans that we use also that I have found have been pretty darn helpful for people, especially that are having a really big viral load or a really big heavy metal load and things like that. But it's funny that sometimes if I don't do a detox support or it will actually put them in a healing crisis, and they'll be sicker than they were before we started. And a lot of that has to do with their body not being able to get rid of all the heavy metals and the viruses, and that sometimes it's a really big load, and they're not able to do that. Have you found the same thing?
I have, and it's I really try to tune in and ask somebody ahead of time, how does your body detox? And some people know, oh yeah, I do fine, not a problem. Other people say, yeah, it's real slow. And so if someone says it's really slow, then I start asking questions. Okay, can we do more, or is this enough? And so you can dialogue with the body, through muscle testing to find out what the body can do at any one time, and that really helps people with that detox. And sometimes it is a layer process where you kind of clear sludge every other day, or sometimes I'll have a particular scan with someone and said, okay, it really says that it's going to work on this for the next 5 to 7 days, and then let's talk again after that. But it's just the body's ability to process what it needs to process. And I've always been surprised that sometimes when that happens, there's an emotional component that will happen during those 7 days that will shift them into a new way of thinking, or an idea, or a situation has come up, and so then they can handle it a different way. So it's almost like the detox is handling more than just the substances getting out of the body, but it's shifting the non-physical part of it too. Right.
Now, have you found anyone smoking gun about why people wouldn't be able to detox? Have you, I mean, in your experience, is there, what usually holds people back from clearing all this stuff?
I think one would be heavy metals, that there's just such a heavy metal load that they don't want to get rid of. The content to conceal is a curtain that we a lot of times deal with, or it's an intention, I should say.
Right.
And it's like, I always talk about it as that, if we haven't dealt with our stuff in life, it's like holding a ball underneath, the pool water, and you're spending so much energy to keep it down, and eventually it pops up. And that's kind of what happens in your 50s and 60s, is your energy of your body can no longer hold that down. It starts popping up. And so it's almost like, with women, it's like the menopause is a way of rebirthing a new idea. You're kind of moving from the center of your reproductive area more into your heart, into your mind. And so and I think guys have that same kind of awakening too. So
I know there's a lot of women that would not agree with that.
Okay,
just
so maybe it's
saying.
just my man. So, but yeah, so it's. But if you're trying to conceal that, then it's like the body gets sicker because it doesn't want to let it go, or
Right.
be aware that it's there, and so
Right.
they're fighting that. And so yeah, it's
a couple of things I found. Two of the biggest things I find is people introduce a toxin to themselves. So whether they eat something or whether they are still in a moldy environment, that's always a big one. It's like, I can't clear a mold every other day or every day for you. I mean, it just doesn't. I can, but it doesn't make sense to do that because you're spending a lot of money and you're not getting better because you're still in that environment, or you're still eating wheat. And, or, if, milk test as a toxin for you, you're still downing cheese like it's going out of style. But yeah, those are the things that, to me, the other thing, so emotions plays a huge role too. So fear, anxiety, things like that usually, you said you had a client the other day. I had one that I'll get text messages every now and again, and it's like, oh my God, I can't do whatever this is going on. It's like, and me, I just throw one or two things, I'll do a little bit of testing. I'll say, okay, there's a big anxiety field here. What's going on? Well, I'm worried about blah. I'm like, well, stop worrying about blah and just live life. I mean, it's the crazy thing, but especially now with all this COVID-19 stuff going on, it's people are afraid to go back to work. People are afraid to go out to a restaurant. People are afraid to go down and get their mail. People are afraid. So there's all that anxiety and fear built up, and it just keeps recirculating around. And, sooner or later, something's got to give, right?
Yep. The ball's coming out of the water. Got to deal with your stuff.
Exactly. Okay. I think we've pretty much covered that one. So here at QT, we believe what the body can see, it can heal. At the core of our work is the identification of toxins and pathogens and heavy metals, all three of those, and the ability to show these to the body so the body can be in a healing state. So we basically show the body and let the body heal itself. For information, more information, or if you'd like to get started with a
session request. I know that always has a hard time.
Oh my God.
I do that all the time.
Boy, did I just stop there. Yeah, if you'd like to get started with a session request, thank you, Jody. Please visit our website at quantumtechniques.com. Thanks, and thanks, Jody. And have a blessed day.
All right. All right.